contouring. I was actually requested to do a contouring video for beginners, and so here I am. I am going to show you how to contour an easy way using Lorac Pro Contour Palette. Before I do, I'm going to talk a little bit about contouring and what the difference is between contouring and bronzing and what some of my favorite contouring products are. There's a little bit of confusion between bronzers and contour products, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Today I am using the Lorac Contour Pro Palette. It's, I think, around 40 bucks for everything you need to contour. However, if you are a beginner, this could be a tricky palette to use because powders are very pigmented, but if you just blend a lot, then it can create a really beautiful sculpted look. You can also go pretty natural with something like this. Another favorite product is from Kevin Aquan, his Sculpting Powder. He has one shade, medium, which is one reason if you have very dark skin or very light skin, this might not be ideal for you because you just get the one shade, but it does work for a lot of people. It's actually pretty universal, except for maybe really dark skin. It's a really beautiful gray toned contour powder, and this one is a little bit more pricey, but he does sell right now a contouring palette that I recommended to my sister. Actually, she just bought that, and it's a great palette. It comes with a cream contour products, powder contour products, and some eyeshadows. And then finally, my favorite contour products are these MAC Pro Sculpting Powders. I love Emphasize. I use this one almost every day, and I love Shadowy. Those are my two favorite. The other ones you can use as bronzers and blending shades, and these are just really good if you have a chance to try these out. Bronzing is when you give yourself an all-over glow, or you can put it just on the high points of your face to look like you've been sitting in the sun. But with contouring, you're trying to chisel out your features. Contouring in makeup is when you emphasize shadows and light. So where the light hits your face versus where it doesn't hit your face. You're trying to deepen up areas that you want to sort of recede, and you're trying to bring out areas that you want to bring out. So for instance, the most popular place to contour your face is your cheekbone. And so when people use contour products, they put a darkness where there naturally would be darkness so that a shadow looks more prominent, and then they put light, highlight, where the light would naturally hit. So they would put highlight above on the tops of your cheekbones and darkness underneath your cheekbones. So with contouring, when you use dark shades, you want it to be matte. You want it to be without any kind of shimmer, because in nature, when there is a shadow, light doesn't hit it, and shimmer is sort of brightens the face, brightens the skin. It plays with light. So matte powders mimic shadow better. In addition to that, you can have matte or shimmer highlights. Highlights just lighten up the skin. So for instance, in this palette, You have a matte highlight and you have a shimmer highlight. The matte highlight is great for lightening up anywhere on the face, and the shimmer you pretty much just want to use at the very high points of your face where you want your skin to really reflect light. With contour products, because of how we understand shadows and colors to work in shadows, a big trend is to use gray toned matte contour products. So for instance, the Kevin Aucoin powder is fairly gray toned. Literally, it's kind of a taupey color, meaning gray brown versus just brown or orange brown. Whereas with bronzers, this one is a Makeup Forever bronzer. Bronzers can be matte, they can be gray toned, but bronzers are formulated to give you a sun-kissed appearance. This is a bronzer, this is a contour powder. You can contour with bronzers. However, if the bronzer has shimmer in it, or if it's very orange toned or warm toned, it's not going to create as natural of a contoured effect as a contour powder or a gray toned matte bronzer. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to make this complicated. It's actually quite simple. It's just that where you place the products and what kind of products you use can affect your look. So I tend to like gray toned matte contour whatevers to contour with, and I tend to like maybe something with a little shimmer, something a little orange toned to bronze up the face all over. You can contour with bronzers, you can bronze with contour powders. I'm just saying a lot of people like me tend to like to keep the two kind of separate. So now that we talked about that, I'm gonna get into a demo. You're gonna see me put product right in the hollow of my cheekbone, underneath my jawline, around my nose, and underneath my lip. Those are my favorite places to contour. You're gonna see me put a matte highlight on the inverse areas of my face, and then you're gonna see me put a shimmer highlight right in pinpointed areas, right at the top of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and let's get into the demo. The first thing we're gonna do is use this lightest color here, our matte highlight shade. And we're going to use our fluffy tulip shaped brush. And we're going to put this on the high planes of the face. So underneath the eyes, down the center of the nose, and down the center of the face, including the chin and forehead. Okay, and then we're gonna bronze, and we're gonna use this light contour color and take a fluffy brush, and we're gonna dust this vaguely in this area, kind of warming up the face. Including the forehead. Okay, now for the real contouring portion, we're going to take a small fluffy brush and we're going to take this medium contour color. If you're a beginner with fair skin, you can continue on with this fairest shade. That'll make your process easier because it's less stark. I tend to use the deepest shade, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna show how to contour with this medium shade. And if you have darker skin, obviously go for one of the deeper shades according to your skin tone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you with my brush where we're placing the contour. I like to do this trick when people are first starting out to show kind of what the correct placement for the shadow should be, especially if you don't have clearly defined cheekbones and sucking in your cheeks doesn't necessarily show where the hollows of your cheeks are. For me, it doesn't really do much. So what I like to show people is if you take a straight edge and you place the one end at the beginning of your ear, right here, the part that touches your face is where you're going to be placing shadow. So you see how the brush isn't touching my face on all of this portion? So you're not going to place any shadow that close to the mouth. It's just those 2 inches that you're going to be placing the shadow. And then as far as what angle you place the brush, the straight edge at, it wants to go from the corner of your mouth to the point where your ear starts, right here. So at this angle is the angle that you want to place your shadow. And then you only want to place your shadow for those 2 inches, the part where the straight edge is touching your face. Okay, so we're gonna take a little bit, tap off the excess on our brush, and where we have that natural shadow is where we're placing our contour shade. So I like to start at the base of the ear, right at the hairline, then sweep down and back and forth, and then I like to scoop upwards, never down. I'm never motioning downwards. It creates a more natural contour if you take this and you sweep it upwards. With a brush like this, where it's skinnier one way and fatter the other, I like to go back and forth the skinny way to create sort of a line, and then sweep up and blend out by turning the brush so that more surface area, more bristles touch the skin. And you just want to make sure you diffuse it. So once most of the product has left the brush, you can go in and blend in a wider radius. Again, always sweeping upwards and not down. Okay, so now you have a cheekbone shadow. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back in with my tulip shaped brush and go in with my matte highlight. And I'm just going to place that underneath the shadow to create a sharper edge and kind of clean up just in case we put too much shadow. And I'm just following along that bottom edge. Now I'm going to do the same thing above, but just kind of lightly diffuse it out. We're doing less of a stark edge and more of a blending. So I go back and forth to create a stark edge on bottom, and I kind of just diffuse on top. So for those of you who would like to contour not just the cheekbones, which most people, cheekbones is enough, don't need to do any more. But if you like to do more, you can take some more of your contour shade. And if you'd like to contour underneath your jawline, what I do is, let me take this earring out. Okay, so for the jawline, I follow the jawline where the natural shadow is. So from behind the ear and sweep up underneath the jaw. You don't want to do too much above, like on the actual jaw, because then it'll look like darkness in the skin instead of shadow. So up behind the ear, down in the jawline. If you have a large jaw and you want to minimize the effect of that, you can take some more of your contour shade and you can put a little bit in front of the ear, down along the jaw, so that when people see you, it'll look like you have a slightly smaller jaw. But for most people, if you want definition, you want to go behind the ear and sweep underneath. You can do the same thing for your hairline. So before, when we bronzed, we kind of bronzed all over where the sun hits our face. But if you want to contour your forehead to be a little smaller, you can put a little bit in along the temples of your face, along the top, just along the hairline if you want your forehead to look a little smaller. I don't really like to do this because I already have my head isn't very big, so I kind of like to leave it be, and I have bangs. But I do like to bring a little bit up there just for cohesive coloring. So you can contour a little bit around your hairline if you like. I'm going to do the other side of my face and I'll be right back. Something I do that you can do if you like to give a poutier look to your lips is you can take one of your lighter contour shades and put a little bit of shadow underneath your bottom lip to give the appearance that your lips are farther forward and underneath is farther back, so that your lips look a little more dimensional. So what I do is I just kind of sweep that back and forth underneath the lip lightly. And then I'm taking the light shade again and putting that up against it. Okay, now if you want to contour your nose, depending on what your problem with your nose is or whatever, you can take one of the more subtle shades and lightly contour on either side. You want to be pretty careful when doing this, because you can make your nose look pretty wonky. And I don't suggest doing this unless you really want to. Most people absolutely don't need this. And again, I like to go back, take the lighter shade, create definition again. And there you go. So the last step that you can do with contouring is take your Shimmer Highlight. This palette comes with one, this one right here. Take that fluffy tulip brush again, and you're gonna place this on the high points of your face. The high points of your cheekbones. Down the bridge of your nose. Everywhere where you put the matte highlight that's at the high points of your face. So you know how we put the matte highlight down here? You don't want to put the shimmer highlight there too. You just want to put the shimmer highlight at the very tops. Tops of cheekbones, down bridge of nose, Cupid's bow, maybe a little bit above your eyebrows. And voila! You're done contouring. Alright, well that is it. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned a little something. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!